Welcome to the Apple Daily News. This podcast is created by Generative AI. Today is 12th September 2024, and we've got a fascinating lineup of stories for you. From Linux developments on older Apple devices to intriguing changes in iPhone design, and even a curious dip in online traffic during the latest Apple event. Links to all stories can be found in the episode notes. Let's dive into the world of Linux and Apple. Open-source developer Conrad Dibsio has submitted device tree patches to enable Linux booting on Apple devices powered by A7 to A11 SCs. This includes iPhones, iPads, iPod Touches, and Apple TVs. The patches, posted by Nick Chan on the Linux kernel mailing list, aim to resolve compatibility issues for these devices on Linux. While T2 devices and the HomePod are excluded due to compatibility challenges, the patches support features like SMP, UART, and more. A7 A10 devices will also support GPIO keys, with A10 devices gaining CPU freak support. However, A11 devices, such as the iPhone X, have some limitations. This development is a significant step towards enhancing Linux support for older Apple hardware. In other news, Apple is redesigning the internal structure of the iPhone 16 models to make battery replacement easier, in line with new EU regulations mandating user-replaceable batteries by June 2025. The redesign not only improves thermal regulation, but also allows for a larger battery. Reports suggest Apple may use a new adhesive method, possibly involving electrically induced adhesive debonding technology, to make battery replacement simpler. The iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus will feature these enhancements, though it's unclear if the iPhone 16 Pro will follow suit. Pre-orders for the iPhone 16 start on September 13th, with a launch date of September 20th. Switching gears to the podcast realm, in a recent episode of How About Tomorrow, DHH discusses Apple, Linux, and server management. The conversation covers his journey into using Linux on the desktop and his thoughts on AI. DHH also reflects on the philosophy of server management, drawing parallels with Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance. He ponders the cyclical nature of technology and what might lead him to stop programming altogether. Now, let's talk about a new issue with Swift. The decimal sign exponent significant initializer in Swift is causing confusion in iOS 18 Developer Beta 5 and Public Beta 3. Negative values are being displayed as positive due to a change in how the sign is interpreted. Developers are concerned about this breaking change, as it affects all apps running on iOS 18 Beta 5 and later. The change seems to be an intentional fix for a long-standing bug, but it hasn't been well documented, leaving developers in the dark. There's a call for clearer communication from Apple to prevent disruption in existing applications. Finally, during the 2024 Apple event, Pornhub experienced a notable decline in traffic, particularly among Apple device users. As the event began, traffic dropped by 15.2%, with the unveiling of the iPhone 16 causing the most significant dip at 16.4%. This trend highlights how Apple events captivate the attention of Apple users, diverting them from other online activities. Interestingly, Android users' traffic remained stable, indicating less interest in the Apple announcements. That's all for today's episode of the Apple Daily News. We hope you found these stories as intriguing as we did. Don't forget to check the episode notes for links to all the stories covered today. Join us again tomorrow for more updates from the world of Apple. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.